Welcome back to the Meeple Marathon. Today, I want to give you my thoughts on Vantage. If you watched my How to Play video, you already know that I am a big fan of this game. They have put so much thought and effort into this game with the immersive and expansive world that they have created of this unknown planet, this unknown species that inhabits this planet. But it's hard to quantify, other than this is an exploration game, what Vantage is, and for people who haven't experienced it yet, what am I getting myself into? So I tried to come up with some other games that you could compare, or I've heard people compare Vantage to, and so I'm just going to talk about those games now, and honestly tell you why Vantage is so different than those games, because I feel like this board game is hit on something incredibly unique. So the most obvious one that comes out is Seventh Continent. Seventh Continent is another purely exploration game, but it is also a survival game, where you are progressively going through and creating this map. You never quite know what's on the next card. You might have some hints and things like that, but in Seventh Continent, you are definitely trying to survive. In Vantage, you are always successful. Every time you take a challenge test, you are successful. Now, there are ways to lose the game, but you almost have to really not be paying attention, or not care about the game if you get to that point. I have not actually lost or been kicked out of or died in a game yet. This one's hard to lose. Most people get to the point where they're like, you know what? I had an amazing experience and we're just good here. A lot of times in the games I've played, people have accomplished the main mission and they don't want to stop. They actually want to keep going. They go for that epic win, and they try and fulfill their destiny, which sometimes can be even loftier task. Or there are ways of the game that you can kind of say, okay, we've had enough. Let's finish away and tuck it in here. Seventh Continent, very different game. Next game is Sleeping Gods, Distant Skies. Also Seventh Citadel, fell into the category of Seventh Continent. Sleeping Gods and Distant Skies. That's definitely a game where you can go anywhere. You can choose any path, similar with Vantage. You can go in just about any direction. I've yet to honestly find an edge to the map. But in Sleeping Gods, that's a campaign game. That's one that you're going to put 30 to 40 hours in to complete a campaign. There's going to be battles. There's resource management. There's a decent amount of setup and upkeep throughout the game. This one, there's almost no setup. It hits the table so fast. It is a heavy box of cards. But since the cards are already organized for you and you're only really dealing with one location card at a time and maybe 9 to 12 cards in front of you and a few tokens here and there, it's an incredibly quick game to get to the table. You can go anywhere in Vantage, but you also don't have to worry about losing a battle or not having enough resources. You always can take on the test that you want to take on. You don't have to go farm resources from somewhere else or worry about a character dying. And you also don't have to worry about it being a 30-hour campaign. This feels like a campaign game. This feels like a lifestyle game, but literally ends in a single session. A lifestyle game I define as a game that you spend a year or maybe more playing through, and you commit a ton of your time. You don't necessarily commit every single game night to your lifestyle game, but you keep coming back to it until you've completed it. So games like Gloomhaven and Kingdom Death Monster and Madara, those are lifestyle games. Those are ones that you invest in, and by the end of it, you have a story to tell. This, you get the same feeling from. You have a story to tell at the end. Every game of Vantage I have played, there has been some element that I'm like, want to share with people, share with other gamers, or they ask you, what did you play last night? Well, I played Vantage, and oh, well, what did you do? Well, we went on search for an elder dragon to ride off the planet. Duh. So, yeah, that is how I feel like this compares, but also is very different to Sleeping Gods Distant Skies. The next one is Mythwind. Mythwind, I never have personally played, but I know a lot of people have said that it's a cozy game, and it just keeps going. It has no ending to it, but that's okay. That that's what we're going. We're just here for the experience. We're here for the adventure. Vantage has an ending. It has a mission. It has a destiny. It has an end game, and it has a way to end the game. It has a clear-cut goal. But you could still enjoy the game and come nowhere close to completing your goal. You could play with a group of people and one person could go off and complete the goal, and you could be on the other side of this unknown planet riding a dinosaur and still have an amazing time playing the game. Like I said, I've never played Mythwind, so I can't give you too many comparisons or differences, but from what I've understood to people, this is a very light game. This is not a heavy game. It doesn't take a lot of strategy or a lot of thought to go into it. You just you make your choice and you move on. You roll some dice. You can literally teach this game in 5 minutes and have it to the table in 5 minutes and be playing in 10. And so I don't think this is like Mythwind at all, because there is you have a mission. You're on a mission. You crash land on a planet. You have a mission. Those missions change. So the replay value here is amazingly high. I don't know what it is for Mythwind. But yeah, so that's another game. These last two are actually not board games, but these are the type of things that, the first thing that, as I was reading the rule books to this and after my first game session, I thought of those choose your own adventure novels that they're still producing to my knowledge, but I definitely read as a kid. Those, you're reading through your storyline, and then you come to the end of the chapter and you have a choice to make. And those choices send you to either page, maybe 59 or page 32. Sometimes it takes you forward in the book and you're jumping around. The point is, however, is that once you've made your choice, you're supposed to continue reading. And eventually, with those Choose Your Own Adventure books, you came to an end. It wasn't always the end you were hoping for, but you always got to an end point. But a lot of times, if you were like me, you'd be reading your Choose Your Own Adventure book, and you'd make it a couple steps in. You're like, I don't really like where this story is going. I'm going to go back. And you would have to backtrack and, oh, where did I come from? You're flipping back pages because you want to see where that other branch goes. You want to know that if I had taken the left fork instead of the right fork, what would the outcome of the book have been? And that's not how the book was meant to go. I mean, technically, you're just supposed to start over again, which some people did, but usually I was flipping backwards through the book. Vantage has that feeling of choose your own adventure. You are always coming across, cardinal directions when you leave a map card. Are you going to go north, south, east, or west? You have to pick one of those. This one, however, definitely almost holds you to that. You got to make a choice. You're stuck with that choice, and then you have to move on. You get one action at most locations, and then you have to continue on your mission. There's no dawdling in this game. There's no farming of resources, or there's lots of games where campaign-style games where you go in and you make every single choice that's available, and then you move on to battle some monster. Or in video games, you talk to every single NPC in town before you go off on your adventure. This does not have that, not downtime, but this does not have that same, it doesn't allow you to do that. It does in some instances, but for the most part, it's choose your adventure, choose which chapter you're going to move on to, and then move on. And there's no coming back from that. Which is exciting in its own right. There are plenty of times where I would love to see and to know what would happen, but that just makes me want to go back and play the game again, and maybe I'll come across that same choice again and I can choose the left fork this time. But just the fact that it pushes you on and forces you to kind of advance through the game makes it very exciting to play this game again in the future. And the last comparison I want to make is to a video game. It's one I bring up a lot, actually, with some of these games, and I compared heavily to this video game to Sleeping Gods when it first came out, and I lauded that game as much as I did, and that's The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Truly, you can go your own way. If you want to go all the way off to the left, you want to go climb a tree, and check things out, you can go do it. If you just want to climb to the top of a cliff, see what's on the other side, you can do that in Breath of the Wild. One of the most memorable moments in Breath of the Wild is when you do climb up to the top of that first mountain, and you can just see everywhere, and you realize how far you have climbed, or the first tower. There's towers in the game that you have to activate, and they rumble up and they rise into the sky. The first time you make it up to a tower and you can just look around and you realize you can just jump off this tower and glide any direction you want. Nothing is stopping you now that you have your paraglider or whatever, is an amazing feeling in the video game. This game has that same feeling. More than likely, during the game, you're going to come across a point where you choose to take a high vantage of the situation, or you get to look at a map that's an overhead view of what you're looking at. And it really is just amazing to open up that book of vantages and look at, you're like, oh, I've been exploring. I recognize that, and that's where I've been. And ooh, I want to go this way, or maybe I want to go over there. So I'm gonna try and kind of go to the west a little bit, and then north, and then to the east. So I think this game is very aptly named Vantages, because it really is. You've crash landed on a alien planet, and you're separated from your party, and so you're looking at everything from your point of view, which is what a vantage is. And you're trying to share those advantages with your teammates, all in the hopes of completing a mission, whether it's you specifically or someone else. You still feel like it's a group win, even though one person usually is the one to complete the mission. You may, again, be on the other side of the planet doing something completely different. But I just remember that first time I played Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and climbed up that tower and just got to look around. And the first time I got to open up that book of vantages in this game and just got to look at the picture and take it all in and be like, ooh, this is my surroundings. Look at everywhere I can go. I could go to all of these places if I want to, was something very special. So, who is this game for? This game is definitely for, a lighter audience. But I am a very, strategy-driven board gamer. I love playing the thinky games that really burn my brain and make me use my brain. But I've been perfectly happy with my playthroughs of Vantage. Another game that came to mind when playing Vantage was Freelancers, the Crossroads game by Plaid Hat Games, because I just had fun playing that game. Freelancers is a lot sillier, and there's way more character development in Freelancers. But this one, you feel like as you build out your grid of cards, you are developing your character. Are you going to specialize in something and be really good at doing those tasks? Or are you going to diversify and make it so any task you do, you have an option to place one of those challenge dice? So you are building out a character. But other than that, it's impossible to put a ton of strategy into the game, because the world is so vast. It's so big. So anybody that enjoys open world games, sandbox style games, you could call this a sandbox style game, this definitely would be up your alley. The turns are very fast. So I've yet to play at 6. I could see it definitely taking longer, just because of passing the books around and everybody taking their turns. But I feel like the ideal player count for this would be 3. That way you have one person who is taking their turn, and then at the end of their turn, you might have some cards to rearrange or insert and pull out of your reserve, or you might want to look over your character, make your decision. While you're doing that, the next person is going, and the third person is reading. that I feel like is the perfect player count. But this game also is perfect for solo, because then you don't have to wait for that downtime. You can just keep rolling and just continuously do your story. There's no break in the action. If you are going to play solo, they have done an app for this where every single entry in the books is built into a web-based application where you just type in the number, you type in the color, and it gives you everything progressively, so you can't read ahead, you can't cheat, but there's not really much you can cheat with. Even if you do look ahead, you are going to pass every test, and there's no difference in, oh, if I passed this successfully versus, you know, just a little bit successfully. There's none of that, so it really doesn't matter if you read ahead or not. Thematically, it's more fun to read it progressively. But again, so anybody that would like to play a cooperative game but still be able to do their own thing, this is definitely a game for you. Anybody that wants to play a game where they know they're not going to lose, you're going to pass every test. You know, there are obviously some people who this game is not going to be for. If you like to have a clear goal or a clear winner in a game, maybe this game isn't for you. There is a lot of upkeep throughout the game of just pulling out the cards, putting back in cards, things like that. But the way they have the box set up and all the cards already organized, it's really not that bad. There's, you know, flipping through a book, finding the entry, reading the entry, but that's really it. So unless upkeep is like a super turn off for you, I would say you'd be perfectly fine with this. But anybody who's just looking for a new type of game, something unique, something that's going to tell a story, something that's going to give them an experience to talk about afterwards, this is definitely one that you would want to take a look at, or find someone that has a copy and you can play a game with them. This is a great I feel like kind of community builder game, where you can just get some people together and sit down and say, hey, you want to play this game? What's it like? Is it like Monopoly? Is it like Catan? You're like, no, it's like nothing you've ever played before. Let's just give it a try. So yeah, I have fully invested in Vantage. I have since pre-ordered the, you know, all the deluxe resources and the little grid mats and things like that. This is definitely a keeper in my collection. I don't see myself, you know, ever feeling like I have played this to the point that there's nothing else to play. Since it's just like a single night session only thing, it's not one that I feel like I'm going to have to keep out on the table and hogging up table space where other games aren't going to be able to play. I'll play a single session, I'll put it away, and then I'll easily have forgotten everything, which is okay. Yeah, I feel like I'm rambling at this point, but needless to say, I have been very impressed with Vantage and everything that it has to offer, and I highly recommend this for just about anybody in the gaming community. Other than that, if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know in the section below. Like I said, I've already released a how to play video that gives you a spoiler-free overview of how to play, so you can go check that out. If you have any other questions, please feel free to let me know in the comment section below. Once again, thanks for watching. Have a great day.